Okay, hi everyone. This is Peter speaking again. So we don't see any more people coming in, so I believe that we can begin. So I'd like to thank you for joining. By the way, my name is Peter Schwetz. I work in Safetica as Channel Development Manager, and I'll be your host for this session. And together with me, it's David Klima, our SaaS Product Manager, which will be covering the more technical aspects of this webinar. Now, the time range, as you've probably noticed, we've set up this session for approximately 45 minutes. So we'll try to keep this timing. And I think it mainly depends on the amount of questions which we'll receive. And by the way, if you do have any questions, I'd like to kindly ask you to submit them within the GoToWebinar application. And at the end, we'll just cover everything. So furthermore, regarding the agenda, so as you can see, the presentation is called Safetica Next as a managed service. So what are we going to talk about? Now, as you can probably imagine, we've been getting a lot of questions regarding our SaaS product, because like our partners are interested in how does the product work, how much does it cost, how can you sell it, what you have to do for it, etc. So first of all, I'll just briefly share the current situation on the market, some findings which we've made, and what is it actually that customers which already utilize the services from MSP companies, what are they really need and how can we deliver? Further, it will be taken over by David, and he'll talk about how Safetica Next works. What are the product highlights? He'll share an online demo with you as well, so that you can have some idea of how does it actually look like. We have a brief product comparison prepared so that you know what are actually the type of customers which we're targeting with this. And then like in his part at the end, it will be a brief sharing of roadmap and our strategy, which we have. Then the final part, it will be taken by me again. So I'll add a bit more information towards the positioning, towards which customers we see as good prospects for this product. I'll talk about the requirements and benefits of being a Safetica partner for our SaaS product. I'll touch pricing, some few details regarding operations, and then, as mentioned, we have the Q&A session at the end. So that's the agenda, and as I've mentioned, if you're going to have any questions, please submit them within the application itself, within GoToWebinar, and we'll cover everything at the end. So first of all, why should someone offer a DLP solution as an MSP, right? So if you're following the security market, I believe that you have generally quite a good idea about how the whole DLP segment is growing. Now, there's a lot of companies doing a lot of predictions, but I have to say that almost all of them, they are usually met in real life, because DLP has been growing steadily for the past couple of years. There's significant growth still predicted for the next 5 years so far. I believe that from Murder Intelligence, there's this expectation of up to 2026. But this is just one part of the coin, because traditional DLP products are one thing, but what we were really interested in was what's the thing with the whole MSP part of the business, right? So we decided that we need more data. And by the end of last year, we started doing a bit of a survey on our own. And in this survey, we basically got in touch with dozens of companies from North America and Europe as well. And basically, we wanted to know what is their existing interest among their customers for a solution like this. And what we found out was that approximately half of them doesn't really have a demand to offer DLP, at least their customers are not telling them proactively, but the other half definitely does have interest in this. And what's more important even is that out of the half that has demand for DLP, only like 1/5 of these companies already has some products which they could deploy. So like there's this huge gap in the market in like what the customers are asking for and what partners can actually deliver. And we're here to show you what we're working on to actually help you fill this gap and make a lot of business on that. Now, obviously we weren't asking only about these things, but we also wanted to know what should be expected from a solution like this. So it's actually in two categories, right? So when speaking about partners, like these are the three main points that were quite important for them. So first of all, rapid time to value for customers, because as you can imagine, general MSP company maintains IT for lots of different clients, and you're in a position where you have a limited time for each customer, so it needs to be done fast. Furthermore, you definitely require superb alerting with clear context, because since you have the limited time available for each customer, it needs to be done promptly. And finally, there's this effective use of partners' resources. So again, like these things really revolve around time and how effectively you can work with it, because like the solution that it should allow multi-tenant management and providing the options to maintain multiple customers centrally. So that's definitely our focus as well. And then it's not mentioned on the slide here, but what was also quite important was that the product should have fair and flexible pricing model, and that's something I'll get to a little bit later. And finally, from the customer's part, so what it actually is, like which things are important for customer, which use cases. And here, the what they need is pretty much the same like in the on-premise segment. The main difference is in how this needs to be done. But for customers, like top three things are data security risk detection, compliance with regulations, and possibility to do an audit in order to comply with these, and like of course real-time notifications and possibly alerting as well, because in this segment, if you get some information to you too late, let's say half an hour too late, it might be already too much. So it's important that the solution complies with all of these points. And with that, I'd like to pass the word to David, and he will even better describe in higher detail how are we addressing these points and what our product is about.
Okay, thank you, Peter, for introduction. Hi, everyone. As Peter introduced at the beginning, my name is David Klima. I'm working in Safetica as product manager, and today I'll take you through the product details. First of all, a few words about the product highlights. From feature perspective, Safetica Next is a discovery solution, which means that we are delivering product which is able to monitor file operations within the customer's perimeter on stations where you have Safetica installed. This is delivered with the multi-platform coverage, which is really important feature. And there is also great benefit on the top of that, because we are able to generate incidents from the data flow and point them out really quickly using real-time alerting. From the scenario perspective, because we are in managed service domain with this product, we want to continually improve the way how quickly we can deploy such product, deploy the actual customer, deploy the product, and basically work on the coverage as quickly as possible. From the customer perspective and the value perspective, there are two kind of logical scenarios which were also quite voted in the surveys last year, which Peter mentioned in the beginning, and that's primarily about control over the digitally stored sensitive data within the customer's perimeter, and also contribution on regulation and compliance, where we want to continually find the space for Safetica and help there. Let's follow up with the architecture highlights. It is also important to mention Safetica Next is a SaaS solution, which means that this is a completely cloud-native product. The important part or feature is that basically to deploy it, you don't need any hardware. The only thing you need is basically access from Safetica and obviously training. And the only thing you deploy at the customer is the part on the diagram on the right-hand side, basically the little client which we need to install on the stations you want to secure, and that's pretty much everything. From the architecture perspective, this whole product is built on Microsoft Azure platform, which is giving us lots of great benefits, but one which is really important is security. And from the architecture perspective, this solution is basically created the way that all our partners and customers are sharing one application environment, so multi-tenant, with one really important exception, and that's this part, where we basically keep all the data which are logged at the customer's perimeter in separated databases. So they are not anyhow touching each other. They are completely isolated and therefore kept secured. One last point which is really important from architecture perspective is this bit on the bottom. So this is basically underlying the fact that we are continually integrating our SaaS solution with our internal services, especially with the billing engine and CRM system, which is also helping with the way how quickly we can maintain the product, because this is all about the processes which partner needs to go through. So that's in a nutshell about the highlights from product and architecture perspective, and now we can do the demo of the product. Before we go there, just a few words. What you're gonna see is a discovery solution. So really product which is giving you the visibility over the data flow. And in managed service domain, this is coming with two user interfaces. The first one, we call it Safetica Hub, is aimed on partners and helping with deployment of customer, and this is multi-tenant management system. The second console, Safetica Next, is aimed on actual service management. So, and now let's look on both consoles a bit closer. So, as you can see on the screen, this is the first console called Safetica Hub. And there are two really important scenarios which can partner apply. First of all, you can really quickly deploy a new customer, which is happening through this registration wizard. As you can see, there are two options. You can either deploy a production customer, or if you want to demonstrate the product to the potential customer and not really expose your own data, this is quite cool feature how you can show the value really quickly and follow up with the deployment of the production one. The deployment itself, it's really fast. It's taking about 5 minutes. Basically, what's happening behind the scene is that once you fill in those mandatory information, we create an account in our partner system, which is kind of prerequisite for billing and licensing. And then we follow up with the actual setup within the Azure, the whole environment, and especially that snapshot of database for logging. Once this is finished, we indicate that state with this active tag, activation date, and from that point of time, you can start deployment of actual clients on stations you want to secure. The other scenario is this view, which is giving you basically kind of helicopter view over all client, customers where you have Safetica installed, and most importantly, information about what's happening within the perimeter at each customer, from maintenance perspective, and also from the security perspective, how many incidents we have detected there. So that's in a nutshell about the Safetica Hub. And now let's look on the other console, which is called Safetica Next, and this is the actual service management. So Let me pick one client here. Yeah, so as you can see, we are having single sign-on here, so you don't have to logging in. The first thing you're gonna see is the dashboard section, where we basically populating the most important information which are happening at the customer's perimeter, things you know basically we need to point out as soon as possible from a maintenance and a security perspective. Also, there are quite important information from the product updates. By the way, we are releasing every week, and this section will be continually changed as we boost the existing features or add the new ones. There will be always some space for adding some important information here. So this is a great place to get some new stuff. The other section here, data security. This is the major value section where we work with the actual data flow outcomes. It has two subsections. This subsection overview is providing the actual info what we collected on the secured endpoints. The bottom part here gives you the actual raw data, so everything we have collected. You can obviously browse through, use those filters to get some additional details, possibly save the filters for later usage, or if you want to share outcomes with your client or do some more serious analysis outside of the console, you can use the export. The part here provides two active widgets, which are quite great for filtering. But besides that, it gives you information about how many employees you secure within the given time frame and perimeter, and also how the data flow changes in time. And now the most important feature on this view are suspicious events, because on the top of the usual data flow monitoring, we detect also incidents, which is a little subset into data flow, basically events which are somehow interesting and they are worth to check. The way how we detect those incidents, there are pre-configured like detection rules behind the scene, which are giving you the value basically right away after the deployment. But obviously, because every customer is different, you can optimize those detection rules, and that's happening within this other subsection called detection rules, where we keep all those conditions in this list, which is prioritized, and basically the process happens the way that every event we log is checked against those rules from the top to bottom. And if we have some positive match, we change the classification to suspicious. Just to encircle the discovery and data flow monitoring process, the last benefit, which was actually released recently, is alerting. So what's happening is that with every suspicious event detection, we send alerts about it. So basically, you're getting real-time information about what happened with some good important context, and possibly click through back to the console where you can pick up the rest of the data and possibly do some further steps. The section endpoints, that's the last one, and this is actually where the whole journey starts for MSP administrator, because here you can download the Safetica client and basically do the deployment on the stations you want to secure. So that's in a nutshell about the product, and let's go back to the presentation and do some just say a few words about our plans for this year. So our roadmap strategy. This year, because we are slowly marching into the Q2, we'll be circling around those three domains a lot. Let's take it one by one. The first domain is about detection and discovery capabilities. which is actually something we're gonna heavily improve next quarter, because we are bringing into the product content inspection module. That's gonna be great asset and great change into the product, because this is really useful feature for regulations and compliance. And besides that, this is obviously gonna improve a lot the way how we can classify the detected incidents and secure the customer's perimeter. The other domain is our efficiency investigation. This is going to be primarily built about this second feature called shadow copy. But besides that, we want to continually, give you additional context within the detected incidents, especially with the help of our detection team, which is going to do lots of magic with the collected data and provide some, anomaly detection outcomes. And the last domain we're going to be concerned with is the perimeter coverage. Basically, enlarge the coverage within the customer's perimeter, which is going to be again primarily built or enlarged thanks to our exposure to Office 365, so to the cloud, which was quite heavily voted within the surveys last year. But besides that, we obviously, because this is multi-platform solution, we want to continually work and improve the way how we can on each platform detect in good quality the data flow and discover the incidents. So that's in a nutshell about the strategy for this year. And the last slide I got here is about comparison between Safetica Next and Safetica 9 solution. This is kind of important feedback, because those two products are sitting next to each other, and they have their own like target customers. So it needs to be explained. Safetica Next is a discovery solution. I know basically the simplistic way how we can give you visibility over the data flow within the customer's perimeter. And therefore, this is aimed rather on fairly small companies who don't really looking for heavyweight kind of expert solution, but rather something which is really light and easy to manage. Also, because Safetica Next is SaaS solution, with features like fast deployment and easy to use process, and also monthly billing solution. This is a great fit for managed service domain, where you need to maintain lots of different customers with different needs, and you have only limited time to deploy such service. So that's everything from my part, and I'm handing over to Peter. Thank you.
David, thank you very much. So what is left is, first of all, the positioning of Safetica Next. So as David was mentioning, there's obviously a difference in targeting for the customers that can utilize this solution. And now I believe like plenty of you have experience with this anyway, but like the ideal company profile we perceive for Safetica Next is, let's say, between 30 to 100 employees. Usually it's also a company which doesn't really have dedicated hardware infrastructure or even a dedicated IT team per se. It might be a company which has one IT person, and that's that. Usually, these types of companies are probably already leveraging some outsourcing of services or utilizing other SaaS products. And what I think a key for them is that when they need to deploy a new product, it truly needs to be done effortlessly. This isn't a segment of companies which can really be okay with an implementation stretching for multiple days or longer. So that's what we're aiming for. And now, speaking of the contact persona for this, I think it's pretty much similar to the type of people that we're usually in touch anyway. So depending on the size of the company, of course, it will be probably someone from C-level management, whether it's CEO, the owner, CFO, possibly a managing director as well. Or, in case of the companies that are a bit larger from the spectrum, it can be an IT administrator or a manager as well. So, not like pretty much the same contact personas that you would usually be in touch with. Also, I wanted to share the highlights of our partner program. So just to differentiate two things here. So you've probably noticed that beginning of the year, we've introduced a new partner program for resellers. Now, that is for the on-premise version of Safetica. For the MSP version, we really simplified it, right? So as you can see here, in order to become a Safetica Next qualified partner, what you'll need to have is at least one client that's implemented on the SaaS solution, and they should be actively managed by yourselves as well. By the way, minimum size for a customer is 10 seats. Also, there is a need for at least one fully trained technician. Now, you probably have experience with the e-learning materials which we have. This is something that we'll be preparing as well. Currently, we're expecting to do the trainings on one-on-one sessions, which for the consultants, it might be even a nicer way of how to educate themselves. And finally, there should be web presence, meaning that Safetica SaaS product portfolio should be presented on the partner's website. And speaking of the benefits, so what I think is really huge here is that currently there really isn't evolved any competition in the market that is able to do this. So this solution for you might really accelerate your business because suddenly you might be in a position where you actually can contact all of those customers which are interested in data security, which need to have some overview over like how are the files moving inside of the company, and they just need to be alerted when anything wrong is about to happen. So that's the first point. Based on that, like if you're with something since the beginning, then you'll definitely have a great possibility to influence the product. So like both in the way of which features for the customers should it have, but also in the way of like how should you be able to work with the console. So like we're currently in a stage where we're really interested in hearing feedback. I'll mention our beta team program a bit later as well, which you'd be able to join, but that's another possibility. Number three, so I take great pride in our support team in general, because from plenty of partners I get great feedback for like the effectiveness and smoothness with which we usually communicate with partners. But it's also about, of course, sales department being a full support for you, about sharing any marketing materials that you'll need, etc. And then finally, obviously, we're going to have NFR licenses for you with a demo access, and to make sure that you're really confident with like deploying the solution, will also assist you with the first 3 customers. So that goes without saying, and that's our strategy for a long time as well. And that brings us to the pricing. So like what you can see in the table below is both recommended end user price per month, but we've added also your cost as a reseller, since margin for resellers generally should be up to 30%. And also another useful information, the MSRP discount, which is what you can see on the right, that is going to be calculated at the end of the billing period. So, like I understand this might seem a bit confusing immediately. So let me just share an example. So every reseller that's going to participate should have the margin up to 30%, meaning the red numbers which you see as a cost for reseller, that's essentially your cost in the different tier discounts. Now, like this is like the black numbers MSRP, as it means, it's a recommendation from our side. So let me tell you an example. So let's say that you as an MSP are going to have let's say 20 different customers. Each one of these customers will be 60 to 70 endpoints, which means that you yourself as our partner are consuming over 1,000 seats of the licenses, right? But because your customers are in the range of 60 to 70, the perfectly acceptable price for them will still be €5, while your own cost will actually be 298. So I hope this is something that makes sense. We've been trying to make it as attractive to our partners as possible so that you don't only have the standard 30% margin, but you have potential to make way more money, even thanks to the scaling with the tier discount. And please, if you're going to have any questions on the pricing, please let me know, because I understand that it might take some time to just completely understand it, but hopefully you got it. Finally, let's just quickly check the trial process. So, obviously, just like with any trial, it's about demonstrating some product values. Now, what we've been thinking about is that usually the trials are for 30 days, but with Safetica Next, we're just trying to smooth the whole process to make it as quick and efficient as possible. And what we realized is that with this product, you're actually able to see the benefits quite quickly as a customer, because just in those 10 days, you can have some analysis and insight into possible issues. So that's the period we have set for trials. Now, of course, we'll provide you with all the support needed during this proof of concept stage. And then we have prepared some quite simple system when we talk about switching from the trial version to a pro one. Now, since we're in the operation stuff, so regarding ordering, so like we have everything based on a pay-as-you-go model, where you're actually paying depending on the amount of seats that you've ordered throughout the month. Now, minimal seats count for subscription is always 10 for each customers, and the monthly billing at the end of the cycle across all active customers with respective discount. So what does that mean? So that's something I was explaining before as well a bit. So let's say that you're going to have, and I'll just go back to the table so it's easier to understand. So let's say that at the end of the month, you're going to have 1,500 endpoints currently. So that's 15% MSP partner tier discount. And with this price, there's going to be a proportional calculation to the actual amount of endpoints which you had ordered in the specific day. Now, by the way, we have additional information for this prepared to share with you to make sure that the whole thing is easily understandable. But yeah, we're definitely open to explain whenever that's necessary. So that was basically everything from the ordering I wanted to share. So, just to summarize what we're talking about. So basically, like we're bringing a new security product to the market. We've put really like over 10 years of developing DLP experience into it. So we see a huge potential in it. We see a huge potential in it, especially for you, the partners, because you really have the opportunity to sell this product from the very beginning to influence where it can go, both from the customer perspective, but also from the admin management perspective. You'll definitely receive full support from our side with everything you'll need. So, like I think your own experience, because I suppose that all of you are already in touch with Safetica, that you know that whenever you need to deal with something, we're here to help. And then finally, for Q2, we prepared a little promo, which means that instead of the 30% I've been mentioning on all the deals for Safetica Next, which you'll close in the upcoming quarter, so that's from beginning of April till end of June, you'll actually get 40% margin on these deals. So we hope that's like a nice benefit to help you bring this product to the market and be appropriately rewarded for it. So what we basically propose as next steps. So first of all, we're obviously open to have some one-on-one calls with you where David can show you the demo in higher detail. We can explain anything you're interested in, whether that's the pricing, whether that's the ordering, whether that's some information when talking about the trials. But of course, just in general, to answer any further questions which you'll have. So definitely let us know. And as well, so there's this option to participate in our beta program with other resellers. And this is what I've been talking about when mentioning that you can actually influence the product, right? Because like not only you can share your opinions and feedback with us, and we'll work on it to meet the needs, but also it has benefits like having actually access to the newest features among the first ones, and then work with that. So that's actually the end of this presentation. So thank you very much for joining it, for sitting through it. And right now we're going towards the Q&A. So if there's anyone who still haven't submitted any questions, but you do have, please do so. And I believe we can get into answering the questions. So like, David, welcome back as well. And there was like first question, was asked. I guess it's someone who joined a bit later. Are you going to send us the recording of this webinar? So the answer is yes. And actually, everyone who registered for this session will receive a recording. So definitely no worries about that. I know that another question here is if we can share the presentation with you. So I don't think this is something we originally planned, but like if anyone will be interested, I believe that we can find a solution for that. So definitely no issues with that. David, do you see yourself some product questions which you could answer?
Yeah, sure. There is a question concerning the where is the Azure cloud located? It's usually repeated a few times as well. So the answer is that we have so far one data center in Netherlands, and basically, if there will be need to create the new one, spread data centers across other regions, there is also an option because Microsoft Azure is giving us that opportunity. Yeah, so far we don't have that need, but this is actually open, and we have that prepared for future.
Okay, so I believe I can switch back to some sales question. So there's a question from Mateusz asking for but I just lost it. But yeah, here it is. So is it possible to sell a Safetica SaaS without MSP model? So normal 1-year license. So as far as I'm concerned, this won't be the option. We're in fact with this product we're targeting the companies that are used to pay on monthly basis. So I guess it will be mainly about some specific use case possibly. So I'd recommend to sync with your account manager from Safetica to discuss any details and see what are the options. David, do you have any questions as well you can answer?
Yeah, let me see how the agent's installation done. Well, we didn't really get we didn't have really space for demonstration of the actual deployment, but the answer is that installation of agent is pretty much identical with our Safetica 9 on-premise solution, but the biggest difference is that you don't have to configure the auditor, basically, to install the agent, it installs the rest of the client automatically and configures auditor automatically. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. The important feature there is that agent in SaaS Safetica is having like additional SaaS plugin attached to it, which means that, and it's actually personalized for every client, which means that you don't have to you have to use it for that particular customer only and nowhere else. So that's only one condition.
All right, I see. Like maybe if you're able to comment, I see a question: how is the installation done? How is agents installation done? So I suppose you went through that, but if you can maybe repeat it quickly.
Well, that's what I mentioned few minutes ago. Basically, in Safetica Next, you need to download the installation file, the downloader. As mentioned, this downloader is personalized for that particular client, so you can't use it anywhere else. And the installation itself takes only like 30 seconds, even less than that. And after that, it installs the rest of the client automatically and configures the actual auditor on that station automatically as well. So it's basically just 30 seconds job, and that's all. After that,
Okay,
you're
great.
basically just checking the status within the Safetica Next endpoint section. And once you see the active tag and heartbeat, obviously, it means that client is successfully installed on that station, and we are, already monitoring data flow.
Okay, I can answer one like sales slash training question myself. So Julia is asking if is the next Safetica training or will it be available in the e-learning platform, and if yes, when will it be there? Very good question. So yes, we're in fact preparing some training that will be in e-learning, but unfortunately, I don't have inputs right now to comment on the specific time. But I'll definitely mention to my colleague to get back to you with something more precise. Absolutely. Then there is a question. So how is the billing done? So I think this is something that we can definitely answer in more detail on the follow-up calls. But generally, at the end of the month, there's a specific amount of seats that you're ordering. Okay, so it can be, let's say, 1,500. So we take that as a base for the MSP tier discount, and then we take a look on the overall utilization throughout the month. So let's say that in week 1 you had 500 ordered, in week 2 you had 800 ordered, then you had 1,100, and then you had 1,500. So what we do is that we have the discount for those 1,500, and then proportionally, the formula works that proportionally each day is just calculated as, let's say 1/30th of the monthly price per the amount of devices that were ordered for that specific day. So it's like a pay-as-you-go model, and even though like you started the month with just 500 endpoints and ended it with 1,500, you actually get a better price for the whole month. So I hope I explained it appropriately, but if this is something that you'll have more questions, which I totally understand, we can definitely follow up on that on some other call. And by the way, I can see that like we basically hit the timing for this webinar, so we'll be able to answer just a few more questions. David, is there anything you'd like to take yourself?
Yeah, I can still see some. Is there ability to install both agents from cloud and on-premise servers? Well, depends if you're asking that, basically install on one station, one endpoint, both agents. The answer is no. So you need to choose if you want to select, the one or the other one. If you're asking for the functionality where you want to monitor or somehow connect on-premise solution into the multi-tenant management in Safetica Hub. This is being discussed, and we might give it a priority, because this could be interesting added benefit for some of our partners who are already selling on-premise solution, and they actually could have all deployed safety cars in one place. So
okay,
that's the one. Also, I can see here information about if we do integration with ITSM or RMM systems. Well, so far no, but this is going to get priority most probably in the second half of the year. So far, our customers are fairly small. Also, as mentioned in the last slide I demoed. So far there is no need, but this is gonna come later. And
okay.
yeah, let me just quickly check if there is anything.
Absolutely, because there's definitely more questions for yourself than there's for myself. So I'll give you a few seconds to find something.
Yeah, yeah, the portals showcased in the demo are two separated portals. Yeah, I think probably asking if those two consoles are like part of one product. Well, the answer is yes. This is all part of the product. We are in managed service domain, so Safetica Hub belongs to that, as well as Safetica Next. If you in the role of partner, you can obviously access both consoles, because in one you maintaining the customers and do the deployment. In the other one, you maintaining the actual service. If you want to provide access to your customer only, in that case, obviously, they engage only in Safetica Next, and Safetica Hubs is closed for them.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
Yep.
If you can take a look for something else you could take, meanwhile, I can answer this one, because we have a question whether is there any discount for education or government sector. So as of right now, we're not, planning such a thing, but like I believe one of our benefits is that we always try to be flexible and to just find a way when there's a need for it. So in case that we're going to have some valuable feedback about why should it be done, and what are the possible benefits, I believe that that might be something to discuss later individually as well. But unfortunately I cannot promise anything right now.
Okay, I can see one question related with start and stop of service. I guess this is related with the maintenance and troubleshooting. Well, so far, we have started with the most important stuff, so we can troubleshoot the problematic endpoint with active management, and this is definitely part of the usual maintenance process. So I think we're gonna give it a priority, most probably in the Q3.
Okay, great. And by the way,
if there is anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go on, Peter.
No. I just wanted to say that personally for myself, I don't see any like sales related questions, and we're 5 minutes over the schedule anyway. So if there's some question which you can choose to answer, and the rest will answer in a follow-up email.
Okay.
Do you see any?
It's fine, Peter.
Okay.
No. It's fine.
Okay, so perfect. So thanks to everyone again for joining. So we hope that this session was informative for you. Apologies that we're unable to answer all of your questions immediately, but as I've mentioned, we'll definitely follow up by email so that you'll get the answer anyway. Furthermore, I'd like to repeat that we're looking forward to discuss some specifics with you. So please get in touch. We'll be happy to jump on one-on-one calls with you to just talk about the business possibilities, your feedback, anything really in general. We'll really appreciate if you'd like to become the part of the beta partner program for like submitting some additional feedback and just getting the newest features as from everyone. And yeah, with that, I believe that's everything. So just to repeat, you'll get the recording as well. And again, thank you very much for joining, and I'd like to wish you a great end of the week.